Welcome to Yehoshua's Daf Yomi Shiur, where the Daf continues daily until the complete revelation of Mashiach ben David, Messiah the son of David. Today we'll be studying Tractate Chullin, page 93, starting with 93a, top of the page, with the words Chelev shehabasar chope oso mutar. And let us... just want to get the right thing here. Good. Chelev shehabasar chope oso mutar alma shalakazolim amarachman eveloy shebesoich hakestolim hochanami shalakaloyes amarachman eveloy shebesoich hakaloyes. The fat that is covered by the flesh is permitted. Apparently, when the Merciful One states in the Torah that the fat is upon the loins is prohibited, see Leviticus 3:4, is referring only to the fat above the loins, but not the fat that is inside the loins. Here also the Merciful One states in the Torah that the fat that is upon the kidneys is prohibited, see Leviticus 3:4, but this does not include the fat that is inside the kidneys. Gufa Amar Rabbi Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel Chelev shehabasar chope oso mutar eini Amar Rabbi Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel Hai tarbo ditute matni asir. The Gemara addresses the matter itself, cited in the discussion above. Rabbi Amma said that Rabbi Yehuda said that Shmuel said the fat that is covered by the flesh is permitted. The Gemara asks, is that so? But didn't Rabbi Abba say that Rabbi Yehuda said that Shmuel said this fat that is under the loins is forbidden, even though it is covered by flesh? Amar Abaye behema v'chaye proke miparka. Amar Rabbi Yochanan ana lav tabachana v'lav bar tabachana. Unihir dachi havu amri beit midrasha behema v'chaye proke miparka. The Gemara answers that Abaye said, when an animal is alive, its limbs separate at the joints as it walks, so that the fat under the loins is not covered by flesh. Therefore, even after it has been slaughtered, this fat is forbidden and does not have the status of fat that is covered by flesh. Rabbi Yochanan said, I am not a butcher, and I am not the son of a butcher. I am not expert in the anatomy of animals, but I remember that this is what they would say in the study hall. When an animal is alive, its limbs separate at the joints as it walks, so that the fat under the loins is exposed. Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Chelev she'al hemses. Ubeis hakoisois isurin. In brackets it says asur. Ve'anush kares. Ve'zeu chelev she'al hakerev. Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Haita v'dekilbusta asur. Ve'anush kares. Ve'zeu chelev she'al haksolim. Rabbi Abba said that Rabbi Yehuda said that Shmuel said the fat that is on the omasum and the reticulum is forbidden, and its consumption is punishable by karet, which means spiritual excision. And this is the fat that is referred to in the Torah as being upon the innards. See Leviticus 3:3. Rabbi Abba said that Yehuda said that Shmuel said this fat of the coccygeal bone is forbidden, and its consumption is punishable by kares. And this is the fat that is referred to in the Torah as being upon the loins. See Leviticus 3:4. Amar Rabbi Safra Moishe mi amar Rachman Eloi teichol b'Yisro. Amar Rava Moishe mi amar Rachman echol demo. Chadechei u'malachei afilu lekadera nami shapir dami. Rabbi Abba said that Rabbi Yehuda said that Shmuel said the veins that are in the foreleg of an animal are forbidden. Rav Safra said to Rabbi Abba, Moses Did the merciful one say in the Torah, do not eat meat? I wonder why I said Moses. Moses! Did the merciful one, maybe it's like an expression, Moshe! This morning I saw someone named Moshe coming out of the, there. So Moshe, I'm seeing him right now, Moshe. Moses. Did the merciful one say in the Torah, do not eat meat, the veins of the foreleg are part of the meat, and are not forbidden? Rabbi said Moses. Rabbi also said Moses. Rabbi says Moses. Rabbi says Moses. What's going on here? Everything is Moses. I was thinking, talk about two people named Moses this morning. Moses, that guy, and Moses, that guy. And the Daf today, I'm saying Moses, even though it's yesterday's Daf, but still I'm reading it today. Rabbi said Moses, did the merciful one say in the Torah, eat blood? The reason that these veins are forbidden is that they are filled with blood. Therefore, one cuts the foreleg upon it, foreleg open and salts it to remove the blood. It is permitted even to cook it in a pot, and it is certainly permitted to roast it over a fire, which also draws out the blood. Rabbi Yehoshua Yehuda said that Shmuel said the fat on the top cubit of a small intestine requires scraping, meaning it is forbidden and must be removed. And this is a fat referred to by the sages, C49b, as the fat that is on the small intestine. Isurin chamsha chute izbe bechafla telasa mimina v'tarte mismaala. Telata mi patzli litre tre mi patzli telata. Tilata nafka mino ni sholiv lehu adicha mime mi ishtal fi lo boi chatute batrayu. Rabbi Yehuda says the sinews that are on the tailbone are forbidden for consumption because they contain forbidden fat. There are 5 sinews in the tail. 3 are on the right and 2 on the left. The 3 on the right each split into 2, and the 2 on the left each split into 3. The practical difference, meaning the reason the Gemara describes this in detail, is that if one draws them out while they are still warm soon after slaughter, they are drawn out easily, but if not, he is required to scrape around them, meaning to dig into the flesh to remove them. It is important to know how many there are to ensure that that one removes them all. Abaye said, and some say that Rabbi Yehuda said, there are 5 strands that are forbidden for consumption. 3 of them are forbidden because they contain forbidden fat, and 2 are forbidden because they contain blood. The ligaments of the spleen and of the tail and of the kidneys are forbidden because they contain forbidden fat, and the veins of the foreleg and of the pharynx, whatever that is, meaning the carotid artery, are forbidden because they contain blood. Gemara asks, what difference is there whether they are forbidden due to fat or due to blood? The Gemara answers with regard to these veins and arteries that are forbidden because they contain blood. If one cuts them open and then salts them to remove the blood, they are permitted. But those strands that contain forbidden fat have no rectification and can never be eaten. Rabbi said, and some say there's a Yehuda who said there are 5 membranes that are forbidden for consumption. 3 of them are forbidden because they contain forbidden fat, and 2 are forbidden because they contain blood. The membranes of the spleen and of the tail and of the kidneys are forbidden because they contain forbidden fat, and the membranes of the testes and of the brain are forbidden because they contain blood. Rabbi Yehuda bar Yoshaya. I remember he had a show. He would eat the testes of the bull. I remember that a long time ago. The balls of the bull. Remember that? Jeremy? Remember that show? Eating the balls of the bull. Reminded me of that. Anyway. Anyone remember that there? Anyone remember that? Rabbi Yehuda bar Yoshaya. The Havakah Koliv Lei. The Chol Levi. Rabbi Yehuda bar Yoshaya. Hamikogoim leimi lai amalei chois beitfei asavu eshkachei amalei hach yamavurim ach mishum derav umanu aviyam mibaraba lo yonson toricho el shaladam bilvad. The Gemara relates that Yehuda bar Yoshaya was peeling the membranes from a spleen for Levi, the son of Rav bar Avchia. He was cutting them only from the upper surface of the spleen. Levi said to Rav Yehuda, "Go down further," meaning remove the fat that is lower down as well. Levi's father, Rav Huna bar Chia, came and found him. As Levi was saying this to Rav Yehuda, Rav Huna bar Chia said to him, "This is what your mother's father said in the name of Rav." And who was Levi's mother's father? It was Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba. He said the Torah prohibits only the membranes that are on the thick upper surface of the spleen. Eini. Rabbi Hamnuna tonakum shalet choil asur. Bin chiyovim elov hechidami. Ile meshal hadad. Amai ein chaven alov el dechule amarlei. Itanya tanyo. Levi asked, "Is that so?" But didn't Rabbi Hamnuna say that it was taught in a Braita that the membrane that is on the spleen is forbidden, but one is not liable to receive the punishment of karet for eating it? Levi clarifies, what are the circumstances referred to in the Braita? If we say that it is referring to the membranes that are on the thick upper surface of the spleen, why is one not liable to the punishment of karet for eating it? Rather, it must be referring to the membranes on all sides of the spleen, even the underside. Rav Huna bar Chia said to his son Levi, "If this bride is taught, it is taught, but I cannot take issue with it." Gufa Rav Huna dana khum shal hatchol asur v'en chayavin olav khum shal gabi kuleya asur v'en chayavin olav etanya chayavin olav. The Gemara returns to discuss the matter itself mentioned above. Rav Hamnuna said that it was taught in a Braita. The membrane that is on the spleen is forbidden, but one is not liable to receive karet for eating it. The membrane that is on the kidney is forbidden, one is not liable to receive karet for eating it. The Gemara challenges the statement, but isn't it taught in a Braita that one is liable to receive karet for eating the membrane on the spleen or the kidney? The Gemara answers the apparent contradiction between the Braita that states that one is not liable to receive karet for eating the membrane on the spleen, and the Braita that states that one is liable to receive karet for eating the membrane on the spleen. Is not difficult. This Braita that states that one is liable for referring to the membrane that is on the thick upper part of the spleen, whereas that Braita that states that one is not liable is referring to the membrane that is not on the thick part of the spleen. Kulia, namilokashi hobitato. Likewise, the apparent contradiction between the Braita that states that one is not liable to receive karet for eating the membrane on the kidney, and the Braita that states that one is liable to receive karet for eating the membrane on the kidney is not difficult. This Braita that states that one is liable is referring to the membrane on the upper part of the kidney, whereas that Braita that states that one is not liable is referring to the membrane on the lower part of the kidney. Be'echashilata Rav Ami v'Rav Asi chad shore mande aso. Let's continue because it's the middle of an idea. 293b. Midela kol barion ha'ever minachai ninu manishore. Okay, so let's just finish this up. And with regard to the testes, regard to the testes that were crushed while the animal was alive, ouch. Poor thing, poor thing, poor thing. His balls were crushed. La, 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 la. With regard to the testes that were crushed with while the animal was alive, but were still attached to their cores in the scroty, there is a dispute between Rabbi and Rabasi. One of them prohibits eating the testes. Why would you want to eat the testes? Why would you want to do something like that? It's mamish muse. It's disgusting. One of them prohibits eating the balls after the animal is slaughtered, and one of them permits eating them. The Gemara clarifies one who prohibits. That's reminding me of the show Taka. There was a show, Ganse. It was in the maybe late 90s, or maybe the early 2000s, maybe even closer to 2010. It was called something like whatever, I Dare You or something like that. And there was Take. There was Take. It was a woman. Some saying it could be a man too, but was eating mamish the beitzim of the bulls of the animals. They were eating the beitzim. Ganse. Why are you doing these? It's for shock value. For shock value. All right. Listen. Gets ratings. Anyways, they're talking about eating the balls over here, Ganse. It's written in the Talmud. I gotta read it. Okay. I made a project to read the Ganse Talmud. I'm going to cover the Ganse Talmud. And dos is dos. I gotta read the good parts and the weird parts and whatever parts. And the private parts. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? One of them prohibits eating the testes after the animal is slaughtered, and one of them permits eating them. You're allowed to eat it, Ganse. The Gemara clarifies one who permits holds that. Okay, 93b. Midela kobarion. Kobarion haya evi min achayininu. Man dishorim min elokab nisarachon haya chiyus ha'izbehu. Since these testes do not heal, they are considered a limb severed from a living animal, even though they are still attached to the animal. Consequently, they are forbidden even after the animal is slaughtered, and the one who permits eating crushed testes... What am I reading here? The one who permits eating crushed testes holds that since that they do not rot, there is still vitality in them, Ganse. There's still vitality in them. And they are not considered to have been detached from the animal. V'idach, I wonder if Daf Reactions has a thing on this. V'idach ha'ilok masalchon. Tilok ha'shaybu yaviro. V'idach ha'ilok baryon k'chishuz ha'ilok. And the other opinion, which holds that the crushed balls are forbidden, holds that the reason the balls do not rot is not because they have vitality, but rather because air does not penetrate into the scroty, and it is contact with air that would cause them to rot. And the other opinion, which holds that the crushed balls are permitted, holds that the fact that they do not heal is because they have been struck with weakness, but not because they are entirely devoid of vitality. Consequently, they should not be considered detached from the body. Okay, well, I think we'll stop here.